Hello, this is Jomaj Studios, and this is our original fantasy action adventure, The Fall of Nale. Episode 15. 20 years later. Many years have passed since two honorable warriors defended my kingdom against a terrifying evil, released by a hungry power sorcerer. These two men ended a wave of destruction before it even had a chance to start. Now, 15 years after I was born, my kingdom faces a new threat. A threat that aims to destroy everything I know and love. Much has changed since the demise of Aiden. The great wizard Elzador no longer sits at the side of my father, and Nale only has a handful of real warriors. It seems fate today has given the forces of evil the upper hand. However, in the fight against Aiden's sorcery, it took only two men to vanquish his evil. Perhaps, if God permits, that can happen again. On a field, at the center of a quiet rural area many miles away from the kingdom of Nale, three teenage boys dressed in a jet black Robin Hood-like outfit practiced their martial arts skills with conviction. Two of the boys, aged 17, trained their reflexes with a contraption designed by their teacher. The machine resembled a modern-day sprinkler, only it was 4 times bigger and was made out of bamboo. And instead of sprinkling water, it shot out hundreds of pebbles from its left and right hand side at an incredible speed, with only half a second interval between each pebble. On its right hand side, one of the boys, who was athletically built and no taller than 5 foot 11 inches, avoided all pebbles fired with incredible style and grace, without stepping out of the area allocated to him. The boy's name was Luke, and from his father, he had inherited a natural grasp for the martial arts, as well as an oriental look that was complemented with short black hair. The boy practicing on the left-hand side of the machine, who was of the same age, height, and build as Luke, moved at an impressive speed slightly slower than that of his fellow student. However, the pebbles he was unable to avoid, he struck with both his hands and feet. His name was Lance, and he was the blonde-haired and blue-eyed son of one of Nale's most revered knights. His father, who had spent a great deal of time training him, finally sent him to train under Luke's father at the age of 12 to instill in him a sense of honor and discipline. Just a few meters away from where Luke and Lance trained, a boy who was 2 years younger and 2 inches taller quietly practiced the art of Tai Chi. The athletically built boy, who had short brown hair and innocent black eyes, was Prince Nathaniel, the heir to the Nale throne, who was named after Lance's father. He was sent to Luke's father at the same time as Lance for the same reasons. After firing for a good half an hour non-stop, the contraption designed to train a man's reflexes ran out of pebbles. "So Nat, have you found the fighting style that best suits you yet?" asked Lance as he and Luke approached young Nathaniel while cleaning the sweat off their foreheads. "Well, because if you haven't, I can give you some help," interrupted Lance, disallowing the young prince to finish his sentence. "Bad idea. Your style relies too much on physical strength and flexibility," pointed out Luke. "And yours doesn't?" responded Lance, insulted by Luke's statement. "No, it doesn't. In fact, anyone can adopt my style," replied Luke. "Really? You do know not everyone has the ability to take to the air like a monkey on heat," pointed out Lance, indirectly mocking Luke's fighting style. A true martial artist would have noticed that underneath all the complex movements I may at times display, my style is mainly made up of simple movements, which utilize the theory of anticipating one's opponent. This is far more effective than aimlessly bombarding an opponent with punches and kicks, argued Luke. "My style is not just about punching and kicking," said Lance, resenting the implication of Luke's comment. "Wow. If that's the case, I've been observing your lookalike all these years," remarked Luke sarcastically. "You know what? I'm tired of your snide comments," said Lance, now stepping right up to Luke. "Really? Let me guess, you're getting angry and are thinking of punching and kicking me as much as possible," said Luke, reinforcing his insults. "You know what? You're all talk, because when it comes down to the crunch, you know I can take you anytime, anywhere," challenged Lance, looking his rival dead in the eye. "How about you take me on right now?" accepted Luke, who despite the fact was calm and collected, was always up for a challenge, especially if it came from Lance. "Guys, remember what Jacob said, if you guys are caught fighting each other again, he will discard you as his students," reminded Prince Nathaniel, now caught in the middle of an uncomfortable situation. "Fair enough. There's only one way to settle this," said Lance, determined to prove he was the better fighter. 3 hours later, a group of hardened and rough-looking men congregated in the clearing of a nearby forest. They were a band of notorious armed robbers, and all 30 of them were dividing amongst themselves what they had just looted from a nearby village. "Hurry up and get it over with, before Amok returns," cried out one of the robbers impatiently. "Excuse me, gentlemen, can any of you tell me whether there is a town near here?" asked a voice politely. The robbers turned around to see who they were being addressed by and saw innocent-looking Prince Nathaniel wearing what was known as the royal seal, a solid gold necklace with priceless diamonds embedded into it. "Yeah, we know, but that little piece of information is going to cost you," said one of the robbers, as 10 of his comrades began to surround the young prince. "Really?" said the prince in a tone that seemed a bit too relaxed. Suddenly, one of the robbers grabbed him from behind. The young prince reacted by using the back of his head to break his assailant's nose, at the same time kicking another robber who was reaching for his seal. Prince Nathaniel then leaped into the air, from where he kicked down 6 attackers before finally landing on his back. Other men then moved in to take advantage of the prince's position, but the prince was quick to react with a spinning capoeira-like attack that floored more than 8 approaching attackers. He then flipped to his feet and ran through the forest. "Get him!" yelled out one of the robbers. All men then chased the prince through the forest into a nearby town, where Lance and Luke stood ready. "Okay, here they come. The rules are simple. You take the guys on the right, and I take the guys on the left. The first one to get floored or hurt loses," instructed Lance. Luke nodded in agreement, and both teenagers gave out a short and loud battle cry in unison. As Prince Nathaniel ran past them, Luke and Lance began attacking the ruthless thieves with their individual fighting styles. Lance displayed a style that was 30% hands and 70% feet, with a persona that was cocky and unforgiving. Luke, on the other hand, displayed a fighting style that was 50% hands and 50% feet, with a persona that was calm, aggressive, and artistic. The robbers outnumbered the boys 15-1, but they were no match for them. In less than 15 minutes, all the robbers were on the floor, either crippled or unconscious. "Well, lads, it looks like it's a draw," said the prince, impressed by the skills displayed by his fellow students. Then there was a loud roar as a huge man came smashing through the trees. It was Amok, the leader of the robbers. He was an 8-foot-tall, bald Caucasian man with a rock-crushing build. Unknown to the boys, Amok had trained under the teacher for 5 years before he decided to turn to a life of crime. He seems tough," said the prince. "I agree. He also seems to be coming from the left," pointed out Luke with a mischievous grin on his face. After giving out a loud battle cry of his own, Amok began running towards the boys. Lance leaped up and executed an aerial back kick that briefly stopped the thug in his tracks. Lance then attempted to follow up his attack with a series of punches, but Amok responded by headbutting the young warrior's fist. As Lance tried to quickly shake off the pain, Amok raised him off the ground by the neck and tossed him aside. Luke and Prince Nathaniel, synchronizing their movements, struck Amok with 2 side kicks to the stomach, which they immediately followed up with 2 backward somersault kicks. This caused the huge bandit to stagger back. With an intent to finish off the staggering giant, both boys leaped towards him with a flying kick. However, Amok recovered quickly and grabbed both boys by the leg while they were still in mid-air and flung them towards where Lance still lay dazed on the floor. "I'm beginning to think this wasn't such a smart idea," said the young prince as he laid on the floor beside his friends. At this time, Amok leaped up into the air with the intent to squash the boys with his body mass. But the young warriors acted quickly and rolled out of the way, causing the huge man to crack the open ground he landed on. The young warriors then got to their feet and began to attack the now slightly dazed giant from all angles. Unable to keep up with all 3 boys, Amok soon found himself tiring out. Luke, taking advantage of Amok's poor conditioning, delivered the knockout blow that took the form of an aerial roundhouse kick. "You do know you lost the bet," pointed out Luke as he and his comrades caught their breaths in front of Amok's unconscious body. "Hey, that's not fair. He was a monster. Besides, he floored all 3 of us," argued Lance. "You made the rules, not me, and according to your rules, you lost, which means you have the inferior fighting style," insisted Luke with a big grin on his face. "Besides, a true warrior can face any opponent," mocked the prince, imitating their teacher's voice. "Ha ha ha, really funny," responded Lance sarcastically, not at all amused. A few hours later, Off a route near the boys' training ground, a short, podgy man tinkered with great excitement on his newest invention. His name was Mitch, and he passed his time exploring the uncharted areas of science. Good day. Wow! That is incredible. What is it? Asked Lance as he and his friends walked into the inventor's yard, only to be taken by the sight of a hot air balloon. I call it the flying machine, said Mitch, who was obviously proud of his work. Does it work? Asked Luke as he got a closer look while the young prince handed Mitch the reflex training machine that he built. Yes, it does. The way it works is quite simple. Its main source of elevation is hot air, Mitch vaguely explained. Can we ride in it? Asked the young prince, already jumping in. Sure, why not? Said Mitch, eager to take to the skies. In a matter of minutes, Mitch and the students of Jacob took to the skies in his flying machine. Lance, Luke, and Prince Nathaniel had no problems in enjoying their first experience of flight. That is the end of episode 15, but before you go, answer this episode's question. As a Christian, is it wrong to be competitive? Refer to the Bible and leave your answer via any of Jomaj Studios' social media platform links, which can be found at jomajstudios.com. Like Water, The Next Age is now available on paperback and in ebook format via any Kindle device. Also, check out the Jomaj Studio website, Twitter page, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube channel for the complete Like Water series and all other Jomaj Studio features.